Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. Well, you're saying that it's up to Turkey and Iraq to figure out the situation with the uninvited Turkish troops. But the U.S. does take upon itself to invite forces from other countries into Iraq and in Syria. Ash Carter was telling Congress yesterday that he personally reached out to 40 countries asking them to commit special ops for the fight and other support. The Iraqi parliament is concerned that their country is becoming this ground where different countries do what they want. The Iraqi parliament's Security and Defense Committee is calling for the review or cancellation of the U.S. security agreement with Iraq. What does the U.S. do to address their concerns?
Address whose concerns?
The Iraqi Parliament Security and Defense Committee that is now calling to review or cancel the agreement with the U.S.
I haven't seen those reports, ma'am. We continue to work with the Iraqi government. The troops that Secretary Carter referred to, that decision was done in full coordination and cooperation with the Iraqi government. If you're trying to suggest that somehow U.S. military assistance against ISIL is untoward or being done without full coordination with the Iraqi government, it's just a completely baseless charge, and I don't think it's worth having any more discussions about it.
But you're saying, are you saying that you're not aware of the Iraqi Parliament's this Security and Defense Committee's initiative that they want to?
No, I haven't seen that.
Okay, what the situation where the U.S.
I'm going to give you just one more, honestly, and then that's it. Okay?
Sure.
Go ahead.
The situation where the U.S. invites forces to Iraq and the U.S. is leading this coalition, but when something goes wrong, the U.S. says it's none of our business, like with the Turkish troops, you have to figure it out between yourselves. Should it be of no concern to Iraq?
Should what be of no concern? I love these questions that are 10 minutes long, and then I'm supposed to get the grain of it out of here. Should what be of no concern?
The fact that when something, you have this cooperation, you have this agreement, but when something goes wrong, the U.S. says it's none of our business, like with what's happening with the Turkish troops.
Oh, come on. Again, another ridiculous question. When have we ever said it's none of our business?
You are saying that about the Turkish troops.
No, I'm not. I'm saying that, I'll say it again, okay, we want this to be worked out bilaterally between Turkey and Iraq. And the way you're trying to twist all of this around to make it look like we're doing something nefarious or that we've got some sort of inappropriate relationships here. I mean, it's just so silly.
Well, am I really twisting it?
I can't believe, honestly, that you aren't embarrassed to ask these questions. You have to be looking at these questions and almost laughing to yourself, don't you? I mean, they're absolutely crazy. So we are working very closely with the Abadi government, right? We are working inside a coalition of 65 nations. 65 nations that have signed up to go after ISIL in Iraq and in Syria. Let me finish. You've had your moment. 65 nations. And what we have said from the very beginning, I said it when I was at the Pentagon in uniform, is that we want any action against ISIL inside Iraq specifically to be done with full cooperation and coordination with the Iraqi government and with their sovereign permission. That hasn't changed one whit. Now there's this dispute between Turkey and Iraq over the presence of a small number of troops. Okay? And I said it over the last several days, and I'll say it again. Nothing's changed about our position about the sovereign nature of Iraq and the fact that troops operating against ISIL inside Iraq needs to be done with the Iraqi government's permission. And we've stated that publicly, we've stated that privately to every member of the coalition. Nothing's changed about that.
Sir.
And we want Turkey and Iraq to work this out. And they are. You are trying to find a way to make this some big divisive issue. And even the Turks and the Iraqis know that it's not. And they're working their way through it. So let's let them work their way through it. And let the rest of everybody keep focusing on ISIL, which is what we should do, and which, by the way, the Russians aren't doing.
Should I not be asking what the U.S. assessment of Turkish actions
I'm going to take this one off, then I'm going to come to you.
Should I not be asking that question? Exactly which question should I be embarrassed about, sir?
You can ask me whatever you want. I'm just stunned that you're not embarrassed by some of the questions you ask. And I notice that RT very rarely asks any tough questions of their own government. So you can ask whatever you want. That's the beauty of this setting, right? here at the State Department, you can come in here and ask me whatever you want. And you can be just as challenging as you want to be and accusatory in your questions. Some of those today, absolutely ridiculous. You can do that here in the United States, but I don't see you...
Which question was ridiculous,
I don't see you asking those same questions of your own government about ISIL in Syria.
Which
and I would
of my
love to
questions
see
was ridiculous?
those questions get asked. Arshad?